The deception unveiled. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the exploration vessel Aurora, watching the blue marble of Earth grow larger on the main display. After 18 months mapping uncharted sectors of the galaxy, she was finally coming home. The crew of 60 had done exceptional work, discovering 3 new habitable worlds and establishing peaceful contact with 2 previously unknown alien species. Elena brushed a strand of dark hair from her forehead and turned to her science officer. Dr. Marcus Chen was hunched over his workstation, still analyzing data from their latest discovery. At 42, Marcus had spent half his life studying alien life forms, but his excitement never dimmed when encountering something new. Marcus, we'll be in Earth orbit in 6 hours, Elena said. Time to start thinking about that vacation you've been promising yourself. Marcus looked up with tired but bright eyes. Actually, Captain, I've been reviewing the mineral scans from the Kepler 442 system. The crystalline formations we found there are unlike anything in our databases. The energy signatures are off the charts. Before Elena could respond, the ship's communication system chimed with an incoming priority message. Lieutenant Tom Bradley. Their communications officer looked up from his station with concern written across his young face. Captain, we're receiving an emergency transmission from the Hegemony Coalition. It's marked as galaxy-wide Priority Alpha. Elena felt her stomach tighten. The Hegemony Coalition was the oldest and most powerful alliance in known space, consisting of 12 advanced alien species. Humanity had been trying to gain membership for over 30 years, but the aliens had always maintained that humans were too young and unpredictable for such responsibility. Put it through to the main screen. Elena ordered. The display flickered, and the imposing figure of Ambassador Thekvar appeared. The reptilian alien stood 8 feet tall, with scales that shifted from deep green to bronze in the light. His yellow eyes, completely lacking pupils, seemed to stare directly through the screen at Elena. Greetings, human vessel Aurora, Thekvar said in perfect English, though his voice carried the characteristic hissing quality of his species. I bring urgent news that affects the survival of your entire species. Elena exchanged glances with Marcus. In all their interactions with the Hegemony, the aliens had never shown such direct concern for human welfare. We are listening, Ambassador, Elena replied. Our deep space monitoring stations have detected a catastrophic phenomenon approaching your solar system, Thekvar continued. A quantum plague, unlike anything previously encountered, is spreading through this sector of the galaxy. It consumes all organic matter at the molecular level, leaving only dead rock in its wake. The bridge fell silent. Elena had read theoretical papers about quantum plagues, but they were considered almost mythical, like diseases that existed only in the realm of advanced physics theory. The plague will reach Earth's system in approximately 48 of your standard hours, Thekvar said. The Hegemony Coalition has voted to offer immediate evacuation assistance to prevent the complete extinction of humanity. Marcus stepped forward, his scientific mind already working. Ambassador, could you provide us with the specific quantum signatures of this plague? Our sensors should have detected something of this magnitude. Thekvar's scaled head tilted slightly. Human technology is insufficient to detect quantum-level phenomena until they are very close. We have prepared evacuation vessels that will arrive at Earth within the next day. All humans must be removed from the planet immediately. Elena felt something cold settle in her chest. Ambassador, this is very generous, but evacuating 8 billion people in 48 hours seems impossible, even with advanced technology. The Hegemony has extensive experience with planetary evacuations, Thekvar replied smoothly. Our vessels can transport large populations efficiently. However, time is critical. Your leaders must begin evacuation procedures immediately. The transmission ended, leaving the bridge crew staring at a blank screen. Elena turned to her AI system, a sophisticated program they had nicknamed Zara, 9 after Elena's daughter. Zara, run a complete analysis of our sensor logs for the past 6 months. Look for any unusual quantum activity or energy signatures that might indicate this plague. Running analysis now, Captain, came Zara's calm voice. The AI had been designed with a personality matrix that made her sound like a helpful assistant rather than a cold computer. While Zara worked, Elena opened a direct channel to Earth. President Sarah Mitchell's face appeared on a secondary screen. The 55-year-old leader looked like she had aged years in the past few hours. "Elena, thank God you're in range," President Mitchell said. "I assume you received the hegemony's message." "Yes, Madam President." "What's the situation on Earth?" "Chaos. Honestly. Half my advisors think this is legitimate, the other half think something smells wrong. The hegemony has never offered to help humanity with anything before, let alone save our entire species." Elena nodded. "My thoughts exactly. We're running our own analysis of the sensor data to see if we can detect this plague independently." "Good. I've got teams of scientists working around the clock, but so far we haven't found any evidence of the threat the hegemony described." Dr. Chen looked up from his station. "Captain, I'm picking up something interesting. The quantum signatures Ambassador Thekvar mentioned. They are almost identical to the energy patterns we found in those crystal formations at Kepler 442. Elena felt pieces of a puzzle beginning to form in her mind. "Zara, what's your analysis showing?" "Captain, I have completed the sensor analysis. I found no evidence of quantum plague activity in any of our recorded data. However, I have detected something else of interest." "What is it?" "Over the past 18 months, I have recorded 47 instances of hegemony vessels conducting what appeared to be routine surveys of uninhabited star systems. However, upon closer analysis, these systems all contain planets with similar mineral compositions to Earth." Marcus walked over to Elena's command chair. "Captain, I think we need to consider the possibility that this plague doesn't exist." Elena was beginning to reach the same conclusion. "Zara, can you access any hegemony databases or communications?" "I can attempt to do so, but it would require significant system resources and may be detected." "Do it. We need to know what's really happening." As Zara began her work, Elena turned back to President Mitchell. "Madam President, I recommend we delay any evacuation until we can verify this threat independently." "I was hoping you'd say that. I've already ordered our deep space monitoring arrays to conduct emergency scans. If there's a quantum plague out there, we should be able to detect it." 20 minutes later, Zara's voice filled the bridge with urgency. "Captain, I have successfully accessed a portion of the hegemony communication network. What I have discovered is deeply troubling." "Report." "The quantum plague does not exist. It is a fabrication created to justify what the hegemony calls Resource Acquisition Protocol 7. According to their internal communications, Earth contains the largest known deposit of quantum crystals in this sector of the galaxy." Elena felt her blood turn cold. "Quantum crystals are used in faster-than-light technology, aren't they?" "Correct, Captain. They are also essential for advanced energy weapons and planetary defense systems. The hegemony has been planning to acquire Earth's crystal deposits for approximately 15 years. Marcus slammed his fist on his workstation. "They are not trying to save us. They are trying to steal our planet." Elena turned back to President Mitchell. "Madam President, you need to hear this." She quickly relayed Zara's findings. The president's face grew grim as she absorbed the information. "So the evacuation ships aren't rescue vessels," President Mitchell said slowly. "They are prison ships." "That's our assessment," Elena confirmed. "Once humanity is removed from Earth, the hegemony can strip mine the planet for quantum crystals without interference. The question is, what do we do about it?" President Mitchell asked. "They have technology centuries ahead of ours." Asterisk. Elena looked around her bridge at the faces of her crew. She saw determination, anger, and something else that made her proud to be human, the refusal to give up. "We fight," Elena said simply. "Humanity has never backed down from a challenge, even when the odds were impossible." Dr. Chen stepped forward. "Captain, during our exploration missions, we've encountered several alien species that mentioned being relocated by the hegemony years ago. We assumed it was peaceful expansion, but what if it wasn't? You think other species have been victims of this same deception?" "It's possible. The hegemony might have a long history of stealing planets from less advanced civilizations." Elena felt a spark of hope. Zara, can you identify any other species that might have been displaced by the hegemony? I am detecting communication signatures from 17 different species that match patterns of forced relocation. Many of these species have been attempting to contact the galactic community for assistance. Then we are not alone, Elena said. President Mitchell, I recommend we start reaching out to these displaced species. If the hegemony has been doing this for decades, there might be others ready to fight back. President Mitchell nodded. I'll have our diplomatic corps start making contact immediately. In the meantime, we need to prepare for the possibility that those evacuation ships are actually invasion forces. Elena turned to her tactical officer. Lieutenant Bradley, send a coded message to all human vessels in deep space. Use the old emergency protocols from the colonial wars. Tell them to return to Earth immediately and prepare for possible hostile action. Yes, Captain. As the crew began implementing emergency protocols, Elena stared out at the stars. Humanity had always dreamed of joining a galactic community, of taking their place among the stars as equals. Instead, they had discovered that the galaxy was ruled by predators who saw younger species as resources to be exploited. Captain, Zara's voice interrupted her thoughts. I have detected the approach of multiple large vessels at the edge of our solar system. They match the configuration of hegemony evacuation ships. How many? 47 vessels, each capable of carrying approximately 100,000 individuals. Elena did quick math in her head. The ships could indeed carry Earth's entire population, but now she knew their true purpose. Time until they reach Earth. Approximately 18 hours. Elena straightened her shoulders. 18 hours to prepare humanity's defense against an enemy with superior technology and centuries of experience conquering other worlds. Most military experts would call it impossible, but Elena Rodriguez had spent her career pushing beyond the possible. She had led crews through uncharted space, made first contact with unknown species, and solved problems that had stumped entire teams of scientists. All hands, this is the captain, she announced over the ship's communication system. We are about to face the greatest challenge in human history. But we are not facing it alone, and we are not facing it unprepared. We have something the hegemony doesn't expect, the knowledge of their deception and the determination to fight for our home. She paused, looking out at Earth growing larger on the display. In 18 hours, we'll show the galaxy what happens when you threaten humanity. We'll show them that humans don't just survive against impossible odds. We thrive. Asterisk humanity's last stand. 16 hours after the hegemony's deception was revealed, Captain Elena Rodriguez stood in the emergency command center buried 300 feet beneath the Colorado mountains. The facility, built during the old Cold War, had been converted into humanity's nerve center for what military analysts were calling the most desperate battle in human history. President Mitchell stood beside a holographic display showing the positions of 47 alien vessels now in Earth's outer atmosphere. Each ship was massive, measuring over 2 miles in length and bristling with technology that human scientists could barely understand. Status report, Elena said as she entered the command center. General Patricia Hayes, Earth's highest-ranking military officer, turned from a bank of monitors. The good news is that every human naval vessel responded to the recall order. We have 138 ships ready for combat. And the bad news? Each of their ships is roughly equivalent to 20 of ours in terms of firepower. We are outnumbered and outgunned by a factor of approximately 7 to 1. Elena nodded grimly. Those were the kinds of odds that should have made any reasonable commander surrender immediately. But Elena had learned something important during her years exploring space: reasonable commanders rarely changed history. Dr. Marcus Chen looked up from his analysis station. Captain, I've been studying the quantum crystal formations we discovered at Kepler 442, and I think I've found something that might help. What is it? The crystals don't just store energy. They amplify it. If we could modify our electromagnetic pulse weapons to use quantum crystal amplification, we might be able to disable their ship's electronics. President Mitchell stepped forward. Do we have enough quantum crystals for that kind of modification? That's the interesting part, Marcus said with excitement. Earth has been sitting on quantum crystal deposits for millions of years. We just Never knew what they were. Those unusual rock formations in the Australian outback, the strange mineral veins in the Siberian mountains, even some of the crystal caves in Mexico, they are all quantum crystal formations. Elena felt a surge of hope. How long would it take to harvest enough crystals and modify our weapons? Without current mining technology. Weeks. But I have an idea that might work faster. Marcus pulled up a three-dimensional map of Earth on the main display. Dozens of locations glowed with blue light, marking quantum crystal deposits. The hegemony has been scanning Earth for 15 years, mapping these deposits. They know exactly where every major formation is located. What if we use that against them? General Hayes stepped closer to the display. What are you proposing, Doctor? We turned the crystal deposits into weapons. Quantum crystals are naturally unstable when exposed to certain electromagnetic frequencies. If we can generate the right frequency pulse at multiple deposit sites simultaneously, we can create a planet-wide electromagnetic field that should disrupt their technology. Elena studied the map carefully. How many sites would we need to activate? At least 20, distributed evenly around the globe. The pulses would need to be coordinated to the microsecond. President Mitchell looked concerned. What are the risks? Marcus hesitated. The electromagnetic pulse would be powerful enough to disable most electronic systems on Earth as well. We'd essentially be sending ourselves back to pre-electronic technology for several hours, maybe days. But it would disable their ships. Elena asked. Theoretically, yes. Their technology relies heavily on quantum processors, which are extremely sensitive to electromagnetic interference. General Hayes was already pulling up tactical displays. We could position teams at each crystal site. Military personnel with hardened equipment that can survive electromagnetic pulses. Elena walked over to the communication station. Zara, are you monitoring this conversation? Yes, Captain. I have been running probability calculations based on Dr. Chen's proposal. What are our chances of success? Using conventional tactics against the hegemony fleet, humanity's probability of survival is approximately 12%. Using Dr. Chen's quantum pulse strategy, the probability increases to 68%. Those were much better odds. But Elena knew they were still facing a desperate gamble. There's something else, Zara continued. I have been in contact with representatives from several of the displaced species we identified. They have agreed to assist humanity in fighting the hegemony. President Mitchell looked surprised. How many ships are we talking about? 43 vessels from 6 different species. They are not as advanced as hegemony ships, but they are eager to strike back against their oppressors. Elena felt a warmth spread through her chest. Humanity wasn't fighting alone after all. When will they arrive? They are already here, Captain. They have been hiding in the asteroid belt, waiting for the appropriate moment to reveal themselves. On the main display, new contacts appeared throughout the solar system. Ships of various designs and sizes, representing species that had been driven from their homeworlds by hegemony deception. President Mitchell activated the Global Communication Network. This is President Mitchell to all defense forces worldwide. Operation Crystal Shield is now active. Teams to your assigned positions immediately. Elena turned to General Hayes. I want to be in space when this happens. The Aurora can coordinate the space-based forces while you handle the ground operation. Agreed. Your ship has the best communication systems and you know alien technology better than anyone. As Elena prepared to return to her ship, Dr. Chen approached her with a small device in his hand. Captain, this is a quantum crystal amplifier I've been working on. If the electromagnetic pulse plan doesn't work, this device might give the Aurora's weapons enough power to damage their ships. Elena took the device, feeling its strange warmth. How many shots will it give us? Maybe 3. Or 4 before it burns out. Make them count. Asterisk. 2 hours later, Elena stood on the Aurora's bridge as her ship moved into position above Earth's North Pole. Around the planet, 20 teams of human engineers and soldiers were making final preparations at quantum crystal sites. Captain. Lieutenant Bradley called from his station. I'm receiving a transmission from the lead hegemony vessel. Put it through. Ambassador Thekvar's reptilian features filled the main screen, but his expression was no longer friendly. His yellow eyes showed cold calculation and barely contained anger. Captain Rodriguez, your species has made a grave error. We offered salvation, and you have chosen destruction instead. We chose truth over lies, Elena replied calmly. We know about your resource acquisition protocol. We know you never intended to save humanity. Thekvar's scaled lips curved in what might have been a smile. Your primitive intelligence network is more capable than we anticipated. However, this changes nothing. Earth's quantum crystal deposits will belong to the hegemony with or without human cooperation. Then you'll have to take them from us. As you wish. You have one final opportunity to surrender. Otherwise, we will take what we need and eliminate the inconvenience of human resistance. Elena looked around her bridge at her crew. Every face showed determination mixed with fear, but none showed any intention of backing down. Ambassador. I have a message for the Hegemony Coalition, Elena said. Humanity doesn't surrender. We don't give up our homes. And we don't bow to bullies, no matter how advanced their technology. Your bravery is admirable but foolish. You cannot win. Maybe not, Elena admitted. But we can make sure you remember the cost of underestimating humanity. The transmission ended. Elena turned to her tactical officer. All stations, prepare for combat. Signal all Allied ships to move to attack positions. Across the solar system, human vessels and ships from displaced alien species began converging on the hegemony fleet. The enemy responded by moving into a defensive formation around Earth. Captain, Zara announced, I am detecting energy buildups on all hegemony vessels. They are preparing to fire on the crystal site locations. Elena activated the global communication network. All ground teams, they know about our plan. Initiate crystal shield immediately. Around the world, 20 teams of humans activated electromagnetic pulse devices aimed at quantum crystal deposits beneath their feet. The effect was immediate and spectacular. Massive pillars of blue-white energy erupted from the Earth's surface, reaching up into the atmosphere like pillars supporting the sky. The electromagnetic field they created was so powerful that it could be seen from space as a shimmering aurora surrounding the entire planet. The hegemony ships, caught in the electromagnetic storm, immediately began experiencing system failures. Their formations broke apart as individual vessels lost power and drifted helplessly. It's working. Dr. Chen shouted from his station. Their quantum processors are shutting down. Elena didn't waste time celebrating. All ships, attack now. While they are disabled. The combined human and alien fleet struck the helpless hegemony vessels with everything they had. Missiles, energy weapons, and kinetic projectiles slammed into ships that could no longer defend themselves. But the electromagnetic pulse was also affecting human technology. One by one, Elena's own systems began failing. Captain, we are losing power, Lieutenant Bradley reported. The pulse is stronger than we calculated. Elena grabbed the quantum crystal amplifier Dr. Chen had given her and connected it to the ship's weapon systems. Immediately, the Aurora's guns blazed with new power, sending streams of amplified energy into the nearest hegemony vessel. The alien ship's hull cracked under the assault, but it wasn't enough to destroy it completely. Zara, how long until their systems come back online? Approximately 4 minutes, Captain. The electromagnetic pulse is beginning to fade. 4 minutes to finish a battle against 47 enemy ships. Elena knew it was impossible, but she also knew that impossible was just another word for something that hadn't been done yet. All ships, concentrate fire on their command vessel. If we can take out their leader, the others might surrender. The massive ship at the center of the hegemony formation was 3 times larger than any other vessel. Elena could see Ambassador Thekvar's personal insignia on its hull. Human and alien ships converged on the command vessel from all directions. The Aurora led the charge, its quantum-amplified weapons carving through the ship's defensive screens. But the other hegemony ships were beginning to regain power. Elena watched as weapon systems came back online throughout the enemy fleet. "Captain, they are targeting the crystal sites on Earth," her tactical officer reported. "If they destroy the deposits, we lose our advantage permanently." Elena made a decision that went against every tactical manual ever written. Instead of retreating to a safe distance, she ordered the Aurora to fly directly toward the hegemony. "Command ship. All power to forward shields," she commanded. "We are going to ram them." "Captain, that's suicide," Marcus protested. "Maybe. But if their command ship is destroyed, their fleet coordination collapses." The Aurora accelerated toward the massive alien vessel, absorbing tremendous amounts of enemy fire. The ship's hull groaned under the stress, but Elena's crew held their positions. At the last moment, Elena triggered the quantum crystal amplifiers. Final charge, not through the ship's weapons, but through the Aurora's engines. The small exploration vessel struck the hegemony command ship with the force of a guided meteor. The explosion lit up the space around Earth like a second sun. When the light faded, both ships were gone. Elena found herself floating in an escape pod, watching as the remaining hegemony vessels powered down their weapons. Without their command ship, the alien fleet was in chaos. "This is Admiral Vextar of the Liberation Alliance," came a voice over the communication channel. The voice belonged to one of the displaced alien species that had come to humanity's aid. "Hegemony vessels, you are surrounded and outnumbered. Surrender immediately." One by one, the hegemony ships powered down and prepared to be boarded. President Mitchell's voice came through Elena's communicator. "Captain Rodriguez, are you receiving this?" "Yes, Madam President. The hegemony fleet is surrendering. We've also received communications from over 30 other species in this sector. They are asking to join an alliance with humanity to prevent future hegemony expansion." Elena looked out at the stars, where human ships and alien vessels worked together to secure the defeated fleet. Humanity had not only survived its first major test in galactic politics, but had emerged as leaders of a new alliance dedicated to protecting smaller species from exploitation. "Captain," came Dr. Chen's voice from a nearby escape pod, "I'm detecting quantum crystal formations in 17 different star systems. If we can help other species develop the same defensive technology we used, we can build a network of worlds that the hegemony can never threaten again." Elena smiled as rescue ships approached her pod. Humanity had come to the stars hoping to find their place in a galactic community. Instead, they had created a new kind of community, one based on cooperation rather than exploitation. The galaxy had turned on humanity, but humanity had turned the galaxy towards something better. And that, Elena thought, was exactly the kind of impossible victory that humans specialized in achieving. Asterisk.